And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Folks, is the zombie genre filled with too many zombie games out there? The answer is a resounding yes. Oh my goodness, there's too many zombie games. But if there was one company that I thought would make a really good zombie games, that would be Smirk and Dagger. So when I heard they were coming out with Student Bodies, I was very excited about that because Smirk and Dagger, who has made Cutthroat Caverns, a fantastic game, has a record of making games where you just do nasty things to other players, and I was very excited about that. Student Bodies is a game in which you're part in a high school and the zombies are attacking, and you might trip your friend and so that they get caught by the zombies. The problem is in this game is that you've been bitten, so you're going to turn into a zombie. However, you know your chemistry teacher has made some sort of antidote that will cure you. So you got to get to the lab and get that antidote, cure yourself, and then get out of there. Let's see how the game plays. So here's the game board. You'll notice the game board has 3 rooms that are separated by doors. You have the main room, which is where you're going to start on these start spaces. Then you have a lab, and then you have this exit foyer that you need to get to. Now, to win this game, you need to get to the lab. You need to turn over one of these potions in that lab, and you're going to find the antidote. There's one antidote in the lab for each player. So you need to find the antidote, then you need to get out and get out of the building alive. Players are going to be playing one of these characters here. Each character has wound tokens that are placed in them like this. It's actually kind of a fiddly mechanism. I almost rather that they had these tokens and you took them away, but instead you flip them over when you take wounds. And when you're completely killed, you'll turn into a smart zombie. So you can see each of these people, some of them, she turns into kind of a nasty little zombie. You can win with the zombies, too, as a smart zombie, if you kill all the other players. Although, you're kind of easy to kill as a smart zombie. Each person has a stamina number. That's how much stamina you can use per turn. And then it also tells you pretty much how to play the game. Now, at the beginning of the game, what players are going to do is they're going to take a lab card randomly from this deck and stick it in the lab. They're also going to take an exit card and stick one randomly in the exit area. Finally, they'll take 2 hallway cards, and they're going to turn these cards over, and this shows you, they put the arrows together in the middle like this. This shows you the initial setup for what's going to happen here. So when I put this down here, I can see that I'm going to put a zombie here, 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 and here, and I'm going to put 2 corpse tokens. I'm going to put one here and one here, and actually the zombie tokens go there. No, they go here. I can't even follow my own patterns. And then over here, we're going to put some terrain, some rough terrain that zombies usually won't go into, and humans take 2 actions to move through that. And then I'm going to stick another corpse here. And another entrance is here. I guess these are the stairs coming downstairs. So, that's how the setup for the game is. So setup for each game is going to be different. And the first person to get into the lab and open the door of the lab will turn over this card, and it shows you where all the different potions are in the lab, how to set up the lab, and where the 4 zombies in the lab are going to be. So every game will be different, and then when you get your potion and you go out the exit thing, same thing. We'll turn over this card, and it will show how this. You can see there's 4 zombies basically set up right there in the exit. So they're going to be different setups each game. Now, on a player's turn, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to use their actions, which will mostly be moving and possibly playing cards. Then they're going to be turning over a zombie card. Now, the game comes with a ton of zombie cards. You don't use them all in every game. Instead, you'll look at the back, look at the letters on them, and you'll be making a deck. When you turn over a zombie, this here, for example, tells you that all zombies take 2 actions, and 2 more zombies then enter through entrances. This one here, Coach Hairball, all zombies take 3 actions. Most of the time, though, it will be all zombies taking action. There's a lot of 2 actions that you just saw, but you hopefully won't have that many in the deck. Your deck will hopefully be different types, and you have different people. Apparently the lunch lady here has turned into a very mean zombie. All players also lose a stamina here. So different cards will come up depending on the deck, and you can make the game harder or easier based on that. Zombies follow kind of pre-programmed movement. If they're knocked down, they stand up. If they're not next to a player, they move towards the closest player, and whoever's turn it is decides if 2 players are equidistant. If they're next to a player, they'll roll a die, which can either miss somebody or bite somebody or knock the person down. And when you're knocked down and someone's next to you, a zombie's next to you, they don't even roll to bite you, they just bite you. Humans, on the other hand, are going to be attacking the zombies. Each human is going to start the game with 1 item. Items can go from bocce balls to the founder's head to crutches. Each of them gives you special abilities. Some of them, like this lock and chain, are weapons. And this one here, you can bash an enemy that's up to 2 spaces away. Sometimes an item like this 5-minute NRG, you have to trash them, get rid of them. This one gives you gives you back 2 health or gives you 2 stamina. And sometimes, like the soccer trophy, you can bash an adjacent enemy or you can throw it at an enemy. So there's all different kinds of weapons in here, and you can find more items. Sometimes when you get to a corpse, you'll turn over it to see what it is. Well, that's a bad one. That one means a zombie reached up and bit you. And that's an empty one there. And that's an empty one. What a terrible setup for corpses that we found here. But many of the corpse tokens have items on them, and then you'll draw the top card from the item deck. The game really revolves around this deck here. The players will be drawing from. They'll have a handful of cards. And on these cards, they'll have actions, which can be played on their turn. They have reactions, which can be played when something happens to you, whatever it says here. Like here, when an attack would bash, bite, or knock you down, you block the attack, then you can move or stand up. And some cards are called fast actions, which can be used on anybody's turn. So players are going to be playing these cards. Like, let's take a look at some of the cards. For example, this one here gives you a stamina and a life. It doesn't cost any stamina to use this card. This one, rush. You can rush through another zombie. Here, the dead can hear. Remove a corpse token and spawn a zombie. You would normally do that to somebody else because you're not very friendly to each other in this game. You'll notice at the bottom here, if the zombie pool is empty, remove a non-player zombie from play first. This is if you are the zombie player, you will play those dark things at the bottom. Here, push an adjacent enemy 1 space. So there's all sorts of things that you can do, and many times they're going to be things that do not help the other players. You might work together for a little bit, but you're not going to work together very long because you're trying to get through. Sometimes one of these cards can simply be an attack, bash an adjacent enemy. So that's basically the cards. You'll be drawing new cards and playing as many of them as you can according to your actions, or maybe waiting to other players' turns. That's basically it. You got to get in. You got to find the potion. The first person to get out the exit wins. They basically lock the doors behind them, leaving everyone else to scream in terror and agony as the zombies eat them all. Or the game calls it a lesser victory, and I highly agree. If you're a smart zombie and you survive and everyone else is dead, then all the smart zombies win. Folks, I was very excited about this game, and maybe too much so because I have to say I was very disappointed by it. First of all, the components, the artwork is very well done. Gory type zombie, nice cartoony artwork. The box, I was a little disappointed by this box size. Was this box size even remotely necessary? And the answer is no. They could have made a normal box size, one of these, fixed the board, and so that it would work in that situation. This is kind of an old, how is this supposed to even fit on most people's shelves these days? I just didn't like this box size. And the components themselves, they were okay. The cards and the mini stand-ups. It's going to be hard, though, to compete with all these zombie games that have zombie miniatures. But I don't mind that as much. Cardboard stand-ups are fine. But let's talk about the gameplay itself. The thing is, I was expecting something different here, and there really isn't anything different. Now, it's not a full co-op game. In fact, it's not even a cooperative game at all. And you're tripping other players and knocking them in front of zombies. And I don't think this is the only zombie game to do that. Many of the big ones, like Zombicide and such, they're full co-ops. You're all helping each other. This one is not. But at the same time, this one really is just a take that card game. But when I say that, I mean a game where you're like, boom, I played that on you, haha. Oh no, you played that on me, oh no. That kind of game with a board. There really isn't any strategy or any tactics or anything special or unique. You simply get your cards and you go, ha ha ha, and you play it on someone else, and then they play a card on you and you're like, no, I don't love you anymore. And you get good items and you're excited and use it against the zombies, but it's totally random. Totally just a big chaotic mess. You never know what's going to happen when you open the door, how the zombies are going to be, when you roll the die, if they're going to hit you or not. There's just what cards you get. Some cards in this deck are way better than others, and if you get the good card at the right time, you'll do well. Even when someone turns into a smart zombie, it's just kind of, you're just kind of playing the same game. And you're attacking each other a little bit more directly now. Man, I wanted to like this game, and I think maybe people who like this zombie genre will like this game because it's the same as all the other zombie games. When I want a zombie game, like I just played Dead of Winter recently, and Dead of Winter takes the zombie genre, turns it on its head, and makes a superb game that blows your mind. It's wonderful. This one is just more the same. This is like a early 1990s game with its mechanisms and stuff. There's no evolution here. There's nothing interesting. The most interesting mechanism of the game is the fact that when you go out into a room, you flip it over to see what the different setups are. So, man, now the game recommends that it's 2 to 4 players. It can go up to 5. There's enough stuff in the box for 5. It also has enough stuff where you can basically set up any kind of setup you want. But I don't think the setups matter. The zombies come on this side, or they come on that side, or they come in here. All the setups felt the same to me. Everything felt very samey about this game. A very big lack of originality. Not a big fan of this one. I want it to be, but I can't. Hopefully the next Smirk and Dagger games will go back to their just blowing my socks off of how cool they are. But anyway, that's Student Bodies.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!